Welcome to this instructional video resource titled Diffusing Extreme Disruption, a presentation on Chapter 6 of Teaching with Love and Logic. My name is Molly Wright, and I am a candidate for the Georgia Academy for Teacher Preparation and Pedagogy. All of the page numbers and major concepts from this video presentation come from Teaching with Love and Logic, Taking Control of the Classroom by Jim Fay and Dr. Charles Fay. Our activator for this video lesson is to consider the following question. What is the most frustrating disruption you have observed in your classroom? Write it down in one sentence and leave room below to write a solution. Our learning targets for this instructional video include the following. I can recognize and apply positive preventative interventions. I can recognize and apply 4 choices for extreme disruption. And I can recognize and apply the principles of short-term recovery. Our connections to the textbook Love and Logic include the following. Pages 111 to 115 refer to positive preventative interventions. Page 116 offers 4 choices for handling extreme disruption. Pages 116 to 127 explore the concept of short-term recovery. Pages 128 to 132 offer scenarios involving short-term recovery, including removing audiences, proactive recovery, and breaking up problematic groups. Finally, pages 132 to 134 reflect on recovery as short-term. According to the first section of Chapter 6 in Love and Logic, a classroom runs smoothly with much fewer disruptions if there are positive preventative interventions in place. These interventions include daily routines, such as establishing a call to attention or having a designated space for smartphones and other mobile devices. Other interventions include occasional rituals, such as changing the seating chart or changing class jobs. What happens when a student resists all preventative interventions? Here is a scenario for positive preventative interventions. In this scenario, the problem is that students are often being loud and getting off track, even though the seating chart is as disruption safe as possible. Options for solving this problem include using a call to attention so that all students focus on you, issuing the students a verbal warning from across the room, and putting a post-it note on the noisy student's desk, threatening detention. An effective solution would be to develop a call to attention using students' feedback and what the teacher needs, such as quiet, raised hands to prevent the teacher losing their voice. On page 116, Jim and Charles Fay offer 4 choices for teachers when facing an extremely disruptive student. The following is a direct quotation from the text, which is so precisely worded it warrants quoting in its full original context. We can choose to do nothing and allow the disruptive student to hold our classroom hostage, spend all of our time and energy trying to cure the disruptive student while ignoring the needs and rights of the rest of the class, work so hard trying to teach and to provide therapy for the disruptive student that we become burnt out and cynical, and to continue to help this disruptive student while also setting a healthy limit. I will allow students to remain with the group as long as they can do so without creating a problem. Here is a scenario for handling extreme disruption. Whitney is throwing paper balls, then pens, then begins dropping heavier materials, like her textbook, on the floor. Positive preventative interventions like speaking discreetly are not working. Whitney needs to find her calm rather than be scared out of her behavior, because a power struggle is exactly what she wants to keep escalating. She can go to short-term recovery. What is short-term recovery? As detailed in pages 116 to 127 of Teaching with Love and Logic, short-term recovery is a place where students can go to get calm and ready to return to class activities. Short-term recovery should not be a first resort, and sending a student out of the classroom should not be for the student simply refusing to finish their academic work, because that in and of itself is not necessarily disruptive, and grades are the natural consequence of not completing work. When a student shows a need to leave the classroom work session and get calm, send them discreetly to a safe place, like another classroom or a designated classroom safe place, like the one pictured here. Since the goal is for the student to find calmness, avoid using a form for students to fill out, as that is about problem solving. Think about how students can stay as long as is needed so that they can return to class calm and ready to work. If a student refuses to go, pages 126 to 128 show a plan a teacher can use so that the rest of the class leaves, removing the disruptive student's audience. Short-term recovery is short-term because it is not meant to be a cure-all. It is simply a place for the student to find their calm and for the teacher to have fewer or no disruptions. Consider the short-term recovery as part of a larger plan to benefit the student and the entire class. Here is a scenario for short-term recovery. Hope is disrupting class with verbal noises that send the class into giggles. After preventative interventions, Hope escalates the disruption to anything that makes noise: her chair, her pens, her papers, and so on. Does Hope need short-term recovery? Options include sending Hope to short-term recovery based on her possibly just needing to calm down, versus ignoring Hope until she breaks a clearly defined classroom or school rule, necessitating imposed consequences like detention. Consider solving this problem by sending Hope to another classroom or to an in-class safe place by discreetly speaking with her, telling her to leave her materials at her desk. The classroom takeaway from this video presentation utilizes the activator from the beginning of our time together. Go back to the extreme classroom disruption you named during the activator. Now, taking a moment, jot down a solution that fits. Use the information from this video to inform your choice. An example might be, because of an unhealthy group dynamic in my classroom, I am going to use the intervention of breaking up problematic groups to reduce the strength in numbers and work with each student individually when problems arise. Thank you for watching this video presentation.